We gonna look at another four-wheeler, baby? Heck yeah. Oak is just all too excited. There she is. Sitting there with a flat tire.
Kind of noisy up front.
Is it really?
The round headlights, square lights, kind of weird, but
Fair enough. I had squares on the yellow TJ.
yeah.
And traded them out for round ones. I just see KC highlights, but this thing's all LED'd up, you know.
Yeah, I'll probably do. They make a LED light force like 1,000 bucks.
Yeah, 1,000 more than I like to pay.
I'd go for the steering light.
Yeah, a little more important. So I'm actually pretty excited about scooping up this little 250. They're so much fun. They're not fast by any means, but they're just super reliable machines. I'm probably gonna curse myself by saying that, but I haven't even heard this thing run, so we're gonna get it out of the truck and look it over. Here she is, 2001 TRX 250EX. It's a cool little ripper. Definitely gonna put some air in the tire right now, and we'll go ahead and check the oil. Probably drain it out. I don't think this thing even has an oil filter. It's got a room for a hitch. That's cool. Yeah, we'll check the differential oil. Rear suspension, other than being frozen, seems to be pretty cooperative. Pretty sure this is stock exhaust. Looks a little bigger than normal. I haven't even heard this thing run. We're gonna check the air filter, probably take it out. And I heard it crank. Looks like it was sitting in the grass for quite some time. We'll peel off these ugly stickers and probably end up cleaning the carb again, because I'm pretty sure it's been sitting for many more years than was told to us. 01 Honda of South Carolina. No way. We're here in Alaska. This thing must have come a long way. All right, let's get started. Tires seem to hold air, so that's pretty neat. Got them all inflated up to 30 psi. Recommended 36. We'll just let these things seat and get a little warmer, and then maybe top them off at the max. But it's pretty icy outside, so if we do any riding with this thing, we probably want them a little bit lower than recommended if we want any kind of traction. All right, let's check the oil. All right, let's see what we got. Nice. Let's clean it off and check, make sure that's not a false reading. Very cool. We'll definitely be changing that out, but oil looks like oil and it's present, so I'm not afraid to start this thing up, at least try to. Let's go ahead and check out the air filter. See what this thing's got for gas. I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it. Smells pretty terrible. All right. I'm gonna dump a little bit of actual gas in there. And I think I have some heat too, maybe. And then we'll give this thing a fighting chance to maybe turn some of the disgusting gas into real gas, and then we'll drain it out, and then we'll put some fresh gas in it and go from there. if we climb under here, there's a little flathead. Where are we? A little flathead right there. We're gonna loosen that up on the bottom of the carb, and in theory, it should drain out that little overflow and into that plastic container down there. So get this old gas out of here before we even try and start this thing. I don't know much about gas, but I know it's not supposed to be that color. Oh, it's so gross. Oh, it's chunky. It's chunky. Wow. Look at that crap. Water. Yep. I'm glad we did this. So what we just did is, by loosening that flathead, we just drained all the gas that's in the float, or whatever used to be gas. And the fact that it's no longer pouring out after draining what's in there leads me to believe that the float in the carb is stuck. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these plastics off, probably pull the gas tank off, and then we'll get access to the top of the carburetor, and then we'll figure out why the gas ain't flowing to the bottom of the bowl. Let's do it. Before we do that, it's a Honda, so I know it's gonna run, but just because inquiring minds need to know, we are going to stick the spark plug tester in there, just make sure this thing's got spark. I can hear that it's got compression. We'll pull that plug out in a second and take a compression tester too, just for fun. Let's do this. All right, we just slid that boot on and we found a configuration that works, and the metal part's going in the little plug wire. So let's turn the key on. Got neutral light, always a good sign. Let's crank it up. Spark, very cool. Very, very cool. All right. I'm gonna throw the battery on the tender just so we got a perfect charge before we go ahead and start this thing up here shortly, if all goes well. Let me grab that tender. Give me the juice. Give me the juice. All right, we're gonna pull this plug out and have a look-see. It's a 18 millimeter. All right. Looks healthy. Looks like it's actually getting gas, so that's good. All right, let's shove the old compression tester down in there just for fun. Well, it's hard to get this thing in there, so we got to take the tank off anyways. We'll go ahead and do that first. All right, if you reach down here, you pull these two little tabs back, and you can actually pop this rubber cover through. This is the first time I've ever worked on one of these things that still has that piece. Most people probably rip this thing off or it goes missing. So then you can move these little clamps out of the way, and that gives us access to the carb, which is very cool. So I want to pull this carb completely off, so we're gonna go ahead and pull these plastics out of the way. Might not need to take the tank off, because all I need to do is get the air box out and I can pull that carb off the rear and give me everything I need. All right, let's take these plastics off. The way these little connectors work, if you haven't used them before, you pop this top piece out with a flat edge, kind of pry it up, and you can pull this piece out and it keeps those ears. Once this piece goes down, as if you were going to install it, it spreads these ears out and keeps the plastic piece in. So once you pop that out, you can just pull the whole round bottom housing out, and then that'll free up your plastic. All right, side plastics are off. That exposes our air box. I can get in the side here, take these clamps out. We're gonna get these other two, there we go. This plastic and this plastic snap connector off, and then see what else is holding this air box on. Looks like we got a clamp down here. Obviously a Phillips head clamp here, and then I think there's another one on the other side. Right here. Cool. Box is moving now. We'll go ahead and pull off this clamp right here. Let's see if I can reach in there and just slide that sucker back. Good. And then let's see. kind of bend this hose, that pops off. Cool, quite literally. And then I'm gonna grab a Phillips for that one right there in the middle. And the other side. This stuff around, you got a little extra room to play with. Very nice. Well, that's pretty perfect. It exposes the back side of the carb. Looks like the choke is stuck up, open. There we go. So down is, up is on. Okay. Seems like there's clamps in the way too. Yeah. All right, well, we'll make sure to spin that the other way. This might get more throttle response without getting choked out if that clamp isn't in the way. Interesting. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's, should be able to twist this. This is our throttle input. If I was really smart, I would clean my hands before I start messing with this stuff, but we got a hydrosonic cleaner right there, so that's pretty neat. Cool, we'll set that off to the side here. Man, it smells bad already. Test out the throttle. Very nice. Where do I want to pull the fuel line off? I think that's an inline fuel filter, actually. Might go ahead and replace that. I know I got a couple other ones chilling over here. So I think this thing's gonna start pissing gas everywhere. We will, we'll pull it off right here and make sure we catch every last drop, because that would be horrible for the environment if I dropped any gas on the ground. All right, let's do it. Well, I just gave this carb a tap, and now it's must have freed up the float. Cool. But that's kind of strange, because I think I tightened that flathead at the bottom. What is going on there? All right, well, we'll let her drain. Give it some more vacuum. Look how gross that crap is. Oh my god, this is all water on the ground, by the way. None of that is gas. It smells horrible. Gotta open up the door. That's appetizing. Blech. All right, we will go dispose of this. We will go dispose of this at our local hazmat center. Be right back in 6 hours. All right, let's go and get this carb off. Here's what the inside of that fuel filter looked like. Tasty. Well, I went to pull the fuel line off, and I was able to do that, but then the fuel filter disintegrated inside. I don't have enough room to get in there and cut this off where I want to. So we're gonna put a whole new chunk of fuel line in there. In order to do that, I gotta pull the tank out. So pulled the two front snaps off, pulled that little plastic red piece off, and then was able to lift it right out. Now we're gonna go ahead and slide this tank off. There's two little straps on either side that have to come off. They look like this. And then let's slide this tank off. Before we remove the tank, we're gonna go ahead and shut our gas off, which is up. And then we're gonna take the screw out, that way we can pull this piece off and then lift the tank straight out. All right, so I went ahead and removed this old fuel line, stuck on a new piece of fuel line I had laying around. Appears to be almost exactly the same ID and OD, except it doesn't have a piece of fuel filter snapped off inside and broken. So we cut this a little bit long on purpose. That way I have another, little piece of tube to play with, and then I'll jam a new fuel filter on I have laying around. Looks a lot like fire fuel filter. There we are. Put one of these in there. All right, new fuel line in place, new fuel filter in place. Let's go ahead and yank those two 10mm nuts off. Already got them loose, and we'll pull this carb off. I think the only thing that'll keep us from removing the carb will be the throttle cable, which will be easier to remove once the carb is a little bit loose and in my hand. All right, this should slide right off the back. And then we'll take a look at this linkage. I think if we loosen up this screw right here, we should be able to pull the choke linkage off and just remove the carb entirely. Very nice. All right, here she is. So we can take a look up here and go ahead and remove this little breather tube. That just goes to the bottom of the machine. And there's two of them. We know the big one goes to the top and the skinny one overflow goes to the bottom. All right, and this is our choke. This is not all too much in bad shape. All right, let's pull the bowl off. It'll be these 3 screws at the bottom. All right, make sure you use the right Phillips head screwdriver. If you strip these, you're screwed. Sometimes if you take, you can actually get vice grips in here. I know it sounds crazy, but you can snap them loose with vice grips first and then get the rest with a Phillips head screw. These are easy. I think this has been apart in the last 20 years, so we actually had a fighting chance of doing it without stripping it. Go ahead and set those 3 aside and then pop this off. Just like that. Kind of ugly. Not too bad. All right, pay special attention to the way this cup goes on. That's like a slosh guard. Set that aside. And there's your jets. Let's see how stuck this is. Not too stuck. Definitely was stuck in place a little bit. We'll go ahead and pull these jets out just for fun. All right. $7 mil? 7 mil. Snap that loose. Little ugly. And let's see, we'll check the adjustment on this. Half. Full. Let's grab a better screwdriver. One and a half. Two turns. Go ahead and take that out. Cool. I'm just gonna pull this last jet out.
Flashlight? Light?
Yeah, sure, if you want to. Show you how the old hydrosonic cleaner works, dude. All right. So that's half, full, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 3 3/4.
And at least it'll run.
Yeah, right. This should be, I think, the last thing. This little guy might do it.
Little tap tap.
Yep. I've broken one of those posts off. That was not cool. That's a little dirty. Still rubberized, that's good. Should probably pop this out too real quick before we burn it up in the hydrosonic cleaner. Alright. This should be okay. Cool. Let's toss her in, dude. I know, it's been one day where it hasn't been ridden. Glad we checked this. We just pulled out this little check thingamajig here and nothing came out. So we're gonna dump some gear oil in there and then drain it properly later as the carb cleans itself in the hydrosonic cleaner. Brakes work. Well, shall we? After you. The gas wasn't on.
Hey Dan, how's it going out there?
We're good.
Sure.
I'm sure you want to try yours out first. Yeah. You want to hit the straightaway over here? What do you think? Worth the $1,250?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. You can change its color too.
Dude, I would have had you on that.
CCs.
Yeah, a lot more than that. I would have had you on that drag race. It was the headwind.